Right.
Ah.
Hi, hello. I need to get contacts because the reflection in these sucks dick. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
How are you? I'm waiting for a response. Yeah, so this, the week of the American Thanksgiving. Very problematic, steeped in genocide and a lot of
awkward family
horrible
situations and
genocide. Yeah.
yeah,
Horrible things have transpired
historically
between indigenous people and the white folks, the colonizers, as you will. Speaking from two colonizers, I will attest that growing up, we didn't get taught hardly anything about the true nature of Thanksgiving.
True Thanksgiving, or that of Pocahontas, right?
Or that of, you're jumping in real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. Ooh, okay.
Disney portrays a different version of things.
Okay, look, if I find the photograph of me playing air guitar while wearing a sun hat and a Pocahontas nightgown, I will put it in here.
Yeah.
But I was obsessed with Pocahontas. I was just, you know what, though? I was so pissed. Because she should have been with Kocoum.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm just saying it. John Smith was pasty and disgusting, and even as a kid, I was like, this is horse shit.
It is.
Kocoum. Yeah.
Real love.
Real love, you know what I mean?
In those days.
In those days. Anyways, if you're listening to us, you won't see that we're just, we're very casual today. I've got my eyes are down here shirt. The lady who has eyes on her boobies.
Yeah.
And Mary's sporting a Fleetwood Mac t-shirt.
I did put on a bra.
We got new bras today.
We went bra shopping.
We went bra shopping.
With your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
It was fun.
It was fun. She was very quick to get out of there. She's like,
yeah, too much tea for her.
She was like, I'm not on the hook for paying for these. Bye.
Bye. Like, you're okay.
it's like we also. Oh my God. I just took a sip of a Truly that has a little bit of pineapple vodka in it, and I gotta say, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Would do again. But yeah, we'll do a little break in between when things get a little too hairy, because in this episode, to get you primed and ready for the holiday, as it was, because if it was up to me, I wouldn't call it Thanksgiving or anything. I would just go along some, like, Celtic thing. Like, technically, are we still in the season of Samhain, sort of? Like,
I think we're coming out of it.
So I would do, like, some kind of, like, feast holiday. But unfortunately, the rest of my family are just stuck in their ways. And so gotta attend. Don't have to, but if you want to see certain people, you have to. So,
yeah.
Anyways, here we are. We thought we would supply you all with some talking points with your fellow colonizers, to make them aware. And today we're going to talk about Amanute, and I'm going to fucking butcher her name. We're talking about the true story of Pocahontas, or as her actual name was, Amanute Matoaka. She was born in 1596. Most of us know her as Pocahontas. Pocahontas was actually a nickname, supposedly, that was given to her by other people in her tribe because she was a rambunctious, free-spirited little girl. Unlike the movie, Pocahontas was not an adult woman seeking love.
No.
Pocahontas or Matoaka, which I'll refer to her as, Matoaka, was a 10-year-old girl when all of these events transpired.
Yeah.
But She was born in 1596 in what is present-day Virginia in the United States. And she was primarily known as Matoaka. And that translates roughly to flower between two rivers, or two streams. Sorry, I fucked that one up. Because she was supposedly born between the Mattapony and the Pamunkey rivers.
Okay.
So she was born to the Powhatan chief, Wahoo Sanaka. He was the chief of over 30 Powhatan tribes. So he was a big deal.
Yeah.
He was a very big deal. And of course, he had other wives and other children. I mean, that was the way.
Ben. As a species.
Several wives, several children. But his favorite wife was Matoaka's mother.
Wasn't she who Pocahontas got the nickname Pocahontas from?
Supposedly.
Like there's different.
There are look. My resources are the indigenousfoundation.org and indiancountrytoday.com. Okay, there are a plethora of sources on YouTube and whatnot. They all say similar, contrasting. Anything that far back in history.
How do you know?
You're gonna get contrasting information, and you're also gonna get people who lie and make up information, like John Smith. Okay,
yeah.
So Matoaka, named after her mother, she was, a rambunctious child. She was free spirited, and she looked just like her mom apparently, and so she was Wahoo Sanaka's favorite daughter. Her mother died and became even more of the favorite daughter. Now, he was the primary chief of the Powhatan Nation. I don't know exactly how all of that works. I just know that he was very important and involved in a lot of comings and goings.
Okay.
A lot of comings and goings.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But she had several siblings. She was raised by her aunts and the other tribes, women and people in the of the Mattapony tribe, and what it was called, the village was called Werowokomoko.
Okay.
Probably butchered that. I'm sorry. So Matoaka was affectionately called Pocahontas. We went over that. Some say it means little mischief. Some say it means, playful one. It's probably amalgamation of both of them. You know what I mean?
But her personality was not average for the 1600s for women. She was a little bit more.
Well, it was pretty average for the tribe, though.
Okay.
Not by European standards,
no,
but
no.
by Powhatan standards, because the Powhatan Nation overall were pretty progressive in their own, in the way they lived their life. Women and children were very much protected and taken care of, and women built the houses. They gathered everything. They basically learned from a young age how to weave baskets, make pots, all sorts of things. Basically, the whole life. The men were the hunters and the, what do you call it? Not army, but warriors. There you go. Warriors. Yeah, there you go. And the children were protected fiercely by both sexes. And I don't know if they had two-spirit people. I'm sure maybe they did. I have no idea. You'll have to tell me if you know that. But yeah, by all accounts, the children were taken very well care of, the women were craftspeople. But because of how, comfortable their tribe was and how, seemingly peaceful, at least within their own tribes and nation, nudity wasn't a big thing to them. Most of the time, especially in the summer months, people would wear as little clothing as possible.
Yeah.
Children oftentimes would run naked. So, fair enough.
All's well until some Europeans come onto their land.
Yeah, so by 1607, Matoaka, Pocahontas, she was a very rambunctious child. She's running free, running wild, playing. She's naked in the forest,
Mm-hmm.
doing her thing, learning how to weave some baskets, but,
Yeah.
She's doing her thing.
Yeah.
Around this time, there was a climate of, there's an epidemic going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that epidemic was the colonizer. Because 12 miles from Werowocomoco was Jamestown.
Okay.
The Virginia Company had come over from England and founded Jamestown, John Smith being their captain. Okay. The epidemic of the colonizer, the weapon that they were using specifically was sexual assault. And it was on the indigenous children and women.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so bad and so prevalent that mothers would preemptively offer themselves up to the settlers in exchange for protection from them raping and murdering their kids.
Hey.
Wonderful. And of course, Wahoo-Sanaka, the chief, and all of the elders, of course they don't like this. They do not want this to be happening. They are disgusted because in their culture, in Powhatan culture, rape is punishable by death. Like, it's a serious thing. But
where did we go wrong, America? Like
Europeans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're assuming that the elders in the English society are going to take care of these men. Because, not all of the settlers are constantly raping and pillaging these villages, but there's enough to where it's a problem.
Yeah.
And they're trying to... Wahoo-Sanaka is thinking, okay, their leader or whoever is their captain or warrior or whatever, their chief, they're going to take care of this. No. They didn't give a shit. Not only do they not give a shit because they're women and children, but they're also... Native peoples were seen as lowly cockroaches, basically. They were treated like they were less than an animal.
Wow.
So they didn't care. Right? So...
Quite the contrast to Disney's version of this story.
It's so awful. It's not like the people that were back across the pond were wild about Jamestown or how the indigenous people were being treated. There were a lot of people that knew what was going on, and they weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
They weren't happy about it at all. But there's nothing you can really... what are they going to do? It was so bad that they were like... Jamestown basically had become a failure.
No.
Because here's another thing. Here's another issue. John Smith and his good old boys, his good old lads, okay, they weren't learning how to, raise crops or do anything. No, they were putting pressure on the Powhatan nation to basically give them everything.
Nice.
And how did they do? And basically being like, going into their villages, certain settlers would have guns. They would threaten the lives of the families and say, okay, you give us your food and your supplies or you're done. And so that's what they were doing. So, John Smith and his company, they decide, instead of burglarizing the Powhatan people out of their food, we need to figure out some way that we can get sources from them we can make them live in a state of fear, because they were pretty much, their hands were tied.
Yeah.
And so, eventually they grew this alliance with Wahun Sanaka, with John Smith, and it was to protect the Powhatan Nation from the encroaching Spanish. Because by now, I'm just thinking.
You think we're bad?
You think we're bad? Wait till you meet the Spanish. They say that in the things that you read, they're like, oh, they had a natural alliance. They wanted to keep peace between the people. But what it sounds like to me is, if I was Wahun Sanaka, and these thugs were just constantly running into my villages, threatening my people, raping the women and children, kidnapping them, and all of a sudden, am I going to have an alliance with? No, it's pretty much your hands are tied. You're like, oh, you're going to give us shit. We'll protect you from the big bad Spanish.
Yeah.
But, which also by then, like, this is 1607, like, Columbus has already been there, and the Spanish, I think Columbus is Spanish. I'll have to check that. But there is a reputation.
Yeah.
So basically, they're under siege. They're being held hostage.
You're good.
Wahun Sanaka, basically, some sources say that he grew fond of John Smith.
Oh.
Oh.
It's probably the one that was the least of an asshole, or the one that the chief could tolerate.
Or it was like a means to an end, like, let's try to...
They were the HR people.
Let's try... Yeah, it's like, let's try... We have to make a change. We have to have this guy on our side somehow to protect our people.
They were the only ones that could talk and forward this information and try to make something work. Well, not that it was fair.
Oh, it wasn't fair. And so he gave him the nickname of Werawance, which means sort of like chief. It was calling him chief of the Jamestown, a chief of his people. Basically trying to deputize him and make him the representative and make him be the one who gets these people in line. Wow. Basically, I mean, essentially, it's putting you in that position, right? But John Smith didn't do shit. I mean, they kept up the trade alliance, but eventually, nothing was happening, and so Powhatans threatened to starve out Jamestown, and they started to pull back their sources. There were some rumors later that Pocahontas, or Matoaka, who is 10 years old, by the way, at this time, was trying to save John Smith and the Englishmen by sneaking food over to Jamestown. Given this is a 12-mile distance from Jamestown to her village, okay? And it's separated by rivers that you have to cross using a 400-pound canoe. So I didn't think that a 10-year-old was doing that. It was a lie that John Smith made up. So he also lied and said that she saved him from getting murdered. She was 10, and if his life was in danger, that was a conference that was held between him and Wahun Sanaka and the elders of the tribe, which children would not be present for, even allowed near. Yeah. So, no. So, around the time Matoaka, Pocahontas, was turning 14 years old, all this bullshit is still going on between the English and the indigenous people. And, they're still bringing supplies to Jamestown in exchange for, I guess, protection. Something. Well, Matoaka, she meets a boy named Kokowam,
No.
who is, some say he was not a prominent member of his tribe. Others say that he was the son of a chief, but he was from another tribe. And so she willingly left this tribe, the Powhatan tribe that she was in, to be at the Potomac tribe, which Kokowam was part of. And a lot of sources say because he wasn't from a place of power that they loved each other. I mean, the only thing I can speak to that is that she did willingly leave where she was comfortable and her family to be with Kokowam. And they got pregnant. She had a baby. Named him Little Kokowam.
Oh.
And by all means, they were happy. So the Powhatans around this time, they're finally fed up. They're like, this is horseshit. They're thieving, they're threatening, they're raping. We're done. We're done. And it's kind of like not that they sat down and had a talk about it and said, we're cutting you off. Yeah. But it was like, you could smell it on the wind. Like, you could read it on the wall. Like, this was coming to an end. Like, these people weren't going to put up with this shit anymore. And there were a lot of indigenous people that did attack settlers and kill them. And, like, there weren't people who just laid down peacefully about it.
We're going to try.
But, so the people in Jamestown could read the writing on the wall that this was not going well. And Jamestown was becoming an embarrassment back in England because they weren't bringing anything back, really. They weren't producing anything. It was just their funders they're funneling all of this money into Jamestown and not getting anything back from it.
Right.
So there was double pressure. Well, around this time, this captain named Samuel Argall, who John Smith is fucked off by now. He's gone.
Yeah.
Argall is there, and he's taken over Jamestown. He decides he's going to kill two birds with one stone. He says, he wants to keep the Powhatan Nation under his thumb, keep them funneling goods in, and not, putting up a fight. But he also needs something to show the investors back in England to impress them, to make them funnel more money into Jamestown. And he chooses to secure this by kidnapping, exploiting, and torturing Matoaka, or Pocahontas.
Nice.
So, he hatched, and I read different accounts where the Potomac people they were kind of guided, or they were kind of like, they sweetened the pot and tried to like bribe them into giving them Pocahontas. I think it's more or less coercion. Like, you're like, what happens when you don't play nice with these white men. You know what I'm saying? You know what happens. And basically they talked the chief of that village that she lived in with Kokowam and his wife into escorting Matoaka, Pocahontas, to this ship that was in the harbor of Jamestown. And she was suspicious by all accounts. I think she's probably like, what the fuck is going on? But it was under the guise of something about her, something political. I don't know. Well, they get to the ship and they get her aboard. She had given her baby to one of the tribeswomen to watch for the day, and she would never see her baby again because she was not allowed to leave that ship, or Jamestown, for that matter. She was kept there against her will.
That's fucked.
And it was pretty much to be like, okay, we're going to keep her here as our bargaining chip so Wahoo and Sanaka doesn't pull the plug on our operation, doesn't cause any stir. And also, they had another plan. They were, through this period of time, we're talking about 1607 to, so she was 14 up to the time she was like 16, 17. They're like, we're going to culture her. Well, not 1607. Oh, yeah.
Whiten her up a little bit.
So she was 14 around 1616. So yeah, they wanted to whiten her up. They wanted to wash away all the savagery. So what did they do? They taught her English.
Ooh.
They made her convert to Christianity.
Oh, yay.
They taught her etiquette. They dressed her. They changed her name to Rebecca. I know, you're going from
The fuck? I'm sorry.
Matoaka to Becky.
Really?
And basically, oh, by the way, Kocoum's dead, by the way. They murdered his ass so that he wouldn't come after her. So he's gone. He's out of the picture. And meanwhile, while she's in Jamestown and she's being basically put through this training camp, this white training camp, she is being assaulted constantly, physically and sexually. She becomes pregnant with her second child. And then this fucker named John Rolfe. Roof. Decides, I guess with Argyle, they concoct this plan. He's like, I'm going to marry Pocahontas. I'm going to take her illegitimate baby, because it is half white, as my own. We're going to take this savage that we have educated and civilized. We're going to take her to England and show her off so that we can get our investors to funnel more money.
How cool.
And so they take her overseas. Okay. And with her comes her sister, Matoaka, her older sister, and a few other tribes people. Well, she goes through the circuit of, being a show pony, basically.
Oh, God.
And they impress enough people. And they had promised her that she could go back to her village, Warokokomo. They boarded the ship to go back to Virginia. And Pocahontas mysteriously got very ill all of a sudden.
Oh.
Got very ill.
Rebecca.
And died from the illness. Oh. And a lot of sources say it could be disease because she was not used to being around the environment in Europe, but also she was around a bunch of Englishmen in Jamestown.
Yeah.
What some people think is more likely is John Rolfe had no use for her anymore. Neither did Argyle. They had, she had performed her function, and they disposed of her. And everybody who came with her, that was part of her tribe, through these sources, it said that they were either sold into indentured servitude, slavery, or into being a carnival sideshow.
Oh, wow.
So, and I couldn't find anything about like if Wahoo and Sanaka found out what happened to Pocahontas. I'm thinking probably not.
Or whatever happened to their kid.
Or what happened to their kid.
Oh.
I mean...
Or the sister, like the people
No, the sister was sold off. Like,
okay.
everything was... Yeah.
That sucks.
So, Pocahontas, the story of Pocahontas is a story of coercion, manipulation, assault, and white supremacy, and fucking... It's terrible. It's absolutely fucking terrible.
Yep. It's not all cute and
it's not cute at all. it's really
sweet.
horrible.
It's not. And
Disney
did a really good job of
and John
making
Smith.
that seem something better.
John Smith, this asshole, he wrote in his diary these stories about, oh, Pocahontas saved me, or Pocahontas brought supplies to us. And a lot of historians are like, no, that's horseshit. He's just saying this because in England, Pocahontas was kind of a celebrity. When they brought her over, they're like, oh, look at this. Look at this savage woman who's been civilized. She's married to a white man. She has his baby. Oh, look at her. Oh. And so John Smith's like, I want a piece of that. I want a piece of that limelight. And so he made up some shit.
Oh my gosh.
But there are sources say that when she was in England, she did shoo him out. Ooh. She ran into John Smith at some sort of function or something. And it said that she chewed him out in English, that he had mishandled, that her father, basically saying, my father trusted you to be the representative of Jamestown and to hold people accountable and to treat our people fairly, and you dropped the fucking ball. You fucked up. Huge. Like, well, and on pretty much on purpose. Like,
it was never for that, you know. That was just something they told the family.
It was not. It was ridiculous. So yeah, she it's fucking terrible. It is. There's nothing else to say about it. And, you know, I'm laughing just because, like...
What can you do?
I'm not laughing at her or their plight or anything like that. It's just, like, it's so fucked.
It's just evil.
So fucked.
It's evil.
I can't even... Ugh. And so, when you're crowded around your family table this Thanksgiving and stuff in your face... And you have to hear Aunt Regina and Uncle Jebediah talk about politics, about how they're just so sad about the decline of the American society, and these liberals are taking, you know, just share a casual story with them. It's not, I mean, they probably won't be able to follow along, but, you know.
You could try to help them. Maybe show them a coloring book of, you know, history in general. Like real history. You can make it yourself, you know. Yeah. Simple words, short sentences, you know. Yeah.
Or show them this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to cap that off besides that we jumped into the holiday season the other day and we made some cinnamon unedible, it's not edible, cinnamon dough, okay? Got a cup cinnamon, half cup glue, a half cup applesauce. And we made these beautiful, you're going to have to watch
the YouTube
video. These beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous gingerbread houses. And you know what? Mine is cute. It kind of takes after Hansel and Gretel. But Mary's is a sex shop. It's a smut shop. And I love it. It says adults only on the side. And on the other side, it says butt stuff. So...
And it's got a ball-gagged gingerbread man with fishnet on.
It's beautiful.
It's very smutty.
And a glittery rooftop.
Oh, yeah. Red, of course.
Oh, yeah. The sexiest of all colors. Red like a baboon's ass.
It's a fun holiday season. And, you know, guys make the best of it because, you know, it fucking is what it is. Just like this story. It is what it is. We can't change it. It was wrong. And, you know...
We can only be... Listen. History is important because we don't want to repeat the mistakes of our shitty, awful, awful elders.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's why you need to put arsenic in the mashed potatoes this year.
I'd see if you were actually directly related to, John Smith or to anybody who was on the Mayflower or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, well.
Trace
that.
Yeah. I don't know. What am I going to tell you to do? What, fucking punch your aunt in the tits? I don't know.
Just do it.
Trip your grandfather.
Just do it.
I don't know. Like, what is gonna... there's nothing that can fix or make any of that right besides being knowledgeable and acknowledging that it happened.
Yep. Pick your battles this holiday season, guys. Like, honestly, but we're going to be doing our own, so... Which we'll report next week, I'm sure. We'll have some fucking great stories. So...
It'll be something.
Do you feel the joy? Do you feel the holiday joy?
Do you feel?
do you hear that?
You hear that?
Wait. Hear it?
It's the sound of my phone ringing
and
with
me
a
not
fake
picking it up.
with a fake phone call saying, "Oh my God, I have to go help Mary. She tripped over her own.
She broke her neck
butthole
in 3 places.
And she broke her neck. I gotta leave. I can't stay here any longer. I gotta go." Well, thank you for listening and thank you for watching if you're watching.
Listen to us wherever you get podcasts. Check out our YouTube video. We are Freaks of a Feather.
Shit, did I not fucking introduce us?
We didn't introduce, but
shit.
If you're listening, we've got a lot of repeats, so... If you're back again, hello, and thank you for listening to Freaks of a Feather podcast.
I dropped the ball. Emily Wooten.
And I'm Mary Boom. Well, let's sign off, guys.
All right, bye.
Happy fucking Thanksgiving.
Happy autumnal feast.
Happy turkey.